You seem to still be up there somewhere.
Maybe I am. There are flying saucers.
Supposing they're Martians or something in there.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Weird Wednesday. I'm itsasherz, and this is
Cassie.
Cassie. It's been a minute.
It's been a long. It actually felt like a long time.
Well, it hasn't been just the two of us in a long time.
No, that's true. That's true.
You know, so it has. It's felt unusually long, I think, because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. We're back now. We're back, and we've got a whole schedule of amazing topics that we're going to talk about, including, of course, tonight, a classic haunting story, allegedly, right?
Yes, allegedly.
Allegedly. But before we get into that, how's your life been lately?
Pretty good. I did my you went to Frogman. I did my first show of the year that was local. It was an odd mall. So I did that last Saturday and Sunday, but I went early Friday morning and helped tape up the booths, and I was there all day because setup was right after that. And then I just hung around with people because that's what I do. I talk to people and help them. So that was a long weekend. I was so exhausted by Monday. Went my week of work, and then John, one of the twins, he had his orchestra concert Wednesday of last week. And it's sad because he's going to like the vocational school next year because he'll be a junior, and he can't do orchestra anymore. And he's done it for like the last 5 years. And he's really good. He's a sophomore. He's a second chair cello. The person in the first chair is a senior. So like he definitely have first chair next year. And so he's got one more orchestra concert left before that's it. Went to a wedding this Saturday with Brandon and one of his friends from his whole life. He got married, so went there. And then I did like emergency yard care on Sunday where I picked up all the branches from this stupid windstorm so they wouldn't blow into my house yesterday during the next windstorm. Found some siding that came off the house and, you know, just stuff we gotta put more money into once spring arrives. And but I'm pretty sure like it was weird. Like on our way back from the wedding, me and Brandon were talking about how we needed to paint our house or re-side it. And then the next day I go out and find the shingles off the house. I'm like, wow, we kind of talked that one into real life, like real fast.
Fault. Yeah.
But exciting news.
Oh.
So at my show last weekend, there was a guy that did 3D printing, and 3D printing's usually always the same, like little figurines and like dragons and stuff, fidget toys.
Sure.
This guy had like 3 to 4 foot tall dinosaur skeletons.
That's where you got them from.
And I always told Brandon, if I ever see a dinosaur skeleton, I'm buying it. And as soon as I walked in, he had a Bronchiosaurus and a T-Rex on the table. And I called Brandon and sent him pictures, and he showed up like 20 minutes later and bought me the T-Rex. And then he told me to buy the other one that I wanted for Mother's Day. So that was my Mother's Day present. But I don't know where the guy's from. He I work in Berlin at the east of Chicago, and right across the street there's like a Souls like craft mall with like vendors like pay their rent for their booths or whatever, and there's a bunch of different vendors in there. Well, come to find out, he has a booth in there. And he showed up at my work Friday with a pterodactyl skeleton and a giant Lego Deadpool for me. So this guy made like $500 off of me within a week. And but I have 3 dinosaurs and a Deadpool that swords pull out, and I can use his pew pew gun.
I was like looking at the dinosaurs, and I'm like, I need that in my life.
Right?
I need them.
You need, like I always said, I'm gonna find a dinosaur skeleton, and I didn't expect to find one this big, but I have 3 big ones, and he gave me a baby one, so I have a baby raptor too.
I didn't realize how big they were.
Yeah, they're huge.
But they do look huge. You know, I was like, oh, they're nice. Wow.
And he made me bones to put in their mouths and stuff, but
I'm
I
about to
don't have
send
the
you some money.
pterodactyl up yet because I want to hang it so it looks like it's
I'm gonna send you
flying.
over there probably, and you'll get me some for my new home when I move.
Right. Housewarming present.
That's very cool. Wow. People
Yeah.
are so creative.
And he did. Oh, you'll love this. It's right up your alley. So, like, regular, like, original Nintendo
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, Super Nintendo, the game cartridges, how, like,
Oh,
they're just, like, gray square rectangles or whatever, and you blow in them and to get them to
sure.
work and shit. So, he gave me a bag of these cartridges with, like, the 3D prints on them, like, popping out of them. So, he gave me, like, a Legend of Zelda, Mario, Donkey Kong, Duck Hunt, crap, there's more. I forget which ones are in there. But anyways, Pac-Man, they're all
Wow.
blank, they're all gray. He's asked me if I would try painting them so we can go into like business together.
Oh,
So hard to paint. So hard to paint because you have to get your brush like underneath things and stuff. And you know me, I haven't painted in a long time. Like I use my Posca markers. That's what I use. They don't work on this. So
yeah.
I bought paint and I bought little tiny brushes and I painted the Donkey Kong one. Looks badass. And it didn't take as long as I thought it was either. So
Yeah, because they're not that
hopefully,
big.
but they look so cool. They'd be like perfect for collectors for
Oh,
Nintendo.
that sounds really cool. Do they? Well, they're not actually game cartridges. They don't work, do they?
No, but like for as much as I had to blow into them, I felt like it was a game cartridge. Like trying to get the little specks of stuff off of.
Yeah, yeah. He could probably. I mean, he probably could pop some microchips in there and make them work.
See, I don't know because the 3D print, like,
Might not fit.
it pops out. So if you try to actually put it into a gaming system, I don't think it would push down far enough.
I mean, I'm just saying that's a way to take it from 0 to 1,000.
Right.
You know,
Oh,
most
yeah, for
people
sure.
would buy the shit out of them.
Just make it a little bigger so, like, the print's above it a little more so you can push it
Yeah.
down.
Right. To people, yeah. Like I said, people would eat that up. Either way, people will eat it up. But yeah, very cool. Wow. So you made a new connection.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
John is writing a book.
Okay, that's fine.
Like,
What's it about?
well, like, I guess I say it like that because I'm, like, shocked at how good it is. Like, he has these hidden talents that come out when he really likes something, and you don't know about it until he's, like, putting it in your face. But, so, it's like a self it's not I don't wanna say self-help, but, like, it's a poetry book that he writes all the poems for. He's gonna have 20 poems, he said, from 7th grade till now, 10th grade, his life right now, of when he, realized that he was gay and all the struggles and stuff that he's been through until now, and try to
Wow.
help other teen boys or girls out, if they're going through problems with their sexuality to know that, like, it gets better, you can get through it. You just have to, like, own it and know yourself and
I mean, it's real sentimental.
yeah, but he wants to make it like a shadow workbook too. So he's gonna have after every poem a little explanation of it, and then he's gonna have a page with like drawn out like 3 squares where people pull their 3 cards, and then like 2 or 3 pages of notes that they can do their shadow journaling in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's gonna be real. I think that's gonna be a hit. with
Oh
people.
yeah. He's so good at like writing his feelings.
My gosh, you got a lot going on. I missed a lot in your life.
Yeah, I don't know if I was supposed to tell anybody that, but he did make a TikTok post on his TikTok that he was writing a book, so I guess I can say it.
Well, when it's out, we'll plug it on the show.
If not, I'm his mom and he does not listen to anything that I do because I'm his mother, so he'll never hear this.
That's true too. That's a fair
Right.
point. My gosh, yeah. Well, like I said, that's exciting. You had a lot of exciting things going on.
Yeah, pretty good. How about you? I know you had an exciting week.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I sure did. So obviously I went to Frogman Festival. I was there.
Really, you were
People
there?
I know people don't believe that because there's like, especially on Facebook, people think I'm like not I'm a bot or something. But no, yeah, I was
It's
there.
the hair. It's always so bright and perfect. People don't think you're real. It's AI.
What is that? Oh, there's no way. Yeah, no, yeah, I had a great time. I always do every year. It was obviously very overwhelming, because it was so good. It
Mhm.
was just crazy. The amount, I mean, it was like double the attendance. And this was already not a small event to begin with.
Right. Like, I went the first year, and the first year, some shows are like, oh, they're trying to maybe people will show up because they know about it. No, the first year was freaking huge. I can only imagine what it is now.
Yeah, this was like, I mean, it was big. And the guests that we had on that I hadn't met before, which I think was only Charlie and Scott, I met them finally in person and
Mhm.
they were great. Me and Charlie had booths right next to each other. He had his Atari game that he talked about. People got to play it. I heard it a lot, but I didn't get to play it because I was busy. So, our first we had a couple of snags though. The first snag that we had was that the line to get into this motherfucker, okay? It was through the lobby because they got to come up to the ticket booth thing. It's through the lobby, it's out the door, it's outside, and it's fucking wrapped around the goddamn parking lot.
That's what
Okay.
people dream of at events.
It was crazy. And he does, they do like an early admission thing. So like when we got there, there was already people in the line. So Jeff did, start letting people in early. And then it just kept growing. And so the first speaker
And
is,
I
is
just want to let everybody know when Asher's is at an event, she shows up on time, not before to get ready or
no,
anything. Like
right on
she's
time.
there
Yeah, I'm
when
there right on
everybody's
time.
supposed to be there.
I was there at 9,
Okay.
started at 9:30. But we set up the night before, so
I know I'm always so nervous because I'm like, okay, where's she at? Where's she at?
the first year was not my fault. I got locked out of my fucking house. Okay. I did. For anybody that doesn't know, I did. I walked outside. I'm up at 6 a.m. Okay, I do laundry at my mom's house, so it's in the car still. I walk outside to go get my laundry to my car. I don't take anything with me. I don't take my phone, my cigarettes, none of it. And walk outside and come to walk back in, and the fucking doorknob. I wasn't even locked out. The doorknob just kept turning, but the actual like latch on it would not budge. I was like, what the fuck? And of course, I'm a good citizen. So I keep my windows locked. I don't
Hmm.
have an unlocked window here, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have my phone. Like I said, I got no cigarettes. I walked around. I live in an apartment complex with probably 200 people that live here. I knocked on every motherfucking door that morning and not one person answered. Not one person answered the door. Okay. It was horrible. But thankfully, Anne, she's prompt and, she's not like one of those people like, I'm going to text you and I'm not going to leave until you answer. No, she shows up and
Hmm.
I'm on my porch and I'm crying, bawling my eyes out. I'm like, I don't know what to do. And she grabbed a screwdriver and fucking she broke in. She got in. That was that. So anyway, so I got ready late and it was a mess. That's what happened the first year. And then I spent the whole day trying to call my fucking maintenance to figure out because I'm like, how am I gonna get back into my house?
Jesus.
It was nuts, and they never answered. So she just straight up took the whole handle off, and I taped the door shut with duct tape for the night.
Yeah, because nothing ever bad happens in Kettering.
It's a pretty safe neighborhood. It was all right.
Yeah.
And the fucking maintenance guy shows up. Not even Sunday. Doesn't even show up Sunday. Shows up on fucking Monday morning. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was on call, but I didn't have the phone. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't give a fuck.
How are
Fix
you on call and not have a phone?
you know what? It's neither here
This
nor
was
there,
4
but
years ago. Where the fuck was your phone?
right. Anyways, that's what happened the first time. But no, you're right. Usually I show up 2 things fashionably late. That is me. I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's just part of who I am. But either way, I did show up at 9 and they're letting people in. So the first speaker's at 10
Mhm.
and not everybody's in the building.
That's
A lot of them
crazy.
still outside, yeah. And so we're like, well, what do we do? Just like, well, just give it a few minutes, and we'll kind of wait, and then it's 10:05, then it's 10:10, it's 10:15, and like the line is just not dwindling at all. So I think we got started at it was like 10:45.
Who was the first speaker?
It was James Willis. He does the
Oh, okay.
Frogman story,
Yeah.
as the introduction. And so, yeah, it was pretty late, but that's okay. I was after him, and then after me was a break. So there wasn't a speaker again until 1 because of the parade and stuff.
Oh,
And
so
then,
you had time to catch up.
right. So we had a little bit of time to catch up. So I get busy, and I am after my talk. So pretty much James goes on, I immediately go on after him, and then they did the parade, and then immediately it's time for Charlie to go on if we're going to stay on schedule. And that's fine. So, but I couldn't, because the parade is right immediately after my talk, I had to sign books and shit and talk to
Yeah.
people, so everybody's flooding my table, and I got some time that, so the people, which, thank you everybody who came out to support my book. By the way, you can buy my book now right on Amazon. Your Strange Guide to Ohio, Volume 1, is available to the public. You don't even have to buy it on Amazon if you don't want to. I will personally sign and send you a copy of it.
Oh,
Just
wow.
send me a message, and we'll work that out. I wrote the book. Cassie did the cover. Jeff Craig did the foreword. You definitely want to get the book.
Yeah.
It's
I want to
very
get the book.
nice. I gotta send you one. Um, so that happens, and then before I know it, it's time for the next speaker, which is again James Willis. He had 2
Yeah.
slots, and so I go, I introduce him, and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to finally go shop. I haven't seen anybody. I mean, I've seen the attendees and stuff, but like any of my
Mhm.
friends, right? It's time to go. I'm like, God, fucking Chad Lewis is here. I haven't even seen him yet, and
Right.
so I go and I start walking around, and I get about 3 booths in, and all of a sudden, the fucking fire alarm is going off.
Wow.
Shit, you're not. The fucking fire alarm is blaring. Like, what the hell? So I don't know. In this day and age, you just seriously can never be too careful.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know what's happening. And my daughter was walking around with me. I'm like, come on, we got to go. And I run out the door. I'm like, because it's fucked up. But in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, there's a mass shooter here.
Okay. I
don't
get
know
that.
why, but that's what I thought, or
Mhm.
something bad is happening.
Yeah, I get that.
We got to go. The building was not on fire. There was no obvious signs of fire, but I'm like, we got to get out of here. So I dragged her outside, and we're like, okay, what's going on? It was set off because of a smoke machine that somebody was using.
Oh.
So it wasn't a big deal, but I will tell you that unfortunately, when that happened, we probably lost about half the crowd.
Really?
Yeah, people just left. Well, and granted, people had been there. This was probably about 2:30. It's
Yeah,
about
but still, that sucks.
But yeah, which I mean, really, it made it about the size of the regular festival
Mhm.
every year. But yeah, we definitely lost a lot of people during that time period. But it was chaotic, and then so of course now we're off track again because James Willis was right in the middle of giving a talk.
Whew.
So everybody goes back in. He finishes his talk, and like I said, we're kind of off track a little bit. But things definitely kind of chilled out a little bit more at that point. But I had spent a lot of time. Usually, when I MC these things, I walk in, I give the introduction, and then I can leave and go right
Mhm.
back to my table or whatever. But because there was a lot of schedule changes and stuff, I spent a majority of my time in the speaker room. Because I didn't want to rush people, but obviously I wanted to kind of signal whoever that, hey, it's time to kind of
Right.
wrap it up
Okay.
and move on to the next one or whatever. So yeah, it was a lot. Like I said, spent a lot of time away from everything, which I do normally. It is my busiest event of the year is Frogman Festival. just in terms of my responsibilities. But I felt bad, and every time I came back to the table, Will, who was selling the ever loving shit out of my items, which was amazing, he is now hired
Yeah.
completely to run all my tables. So, and I know he listens to the show. So, and he knows that already. I told him on the way home, I was like, yeah, you're hired, dude. You have to go with me to these things. But, I'd come back and he'd be like, yeah, he's like, somebody wanted to buy your book, but you weren't here to sign it. And I'm like, I know. And so I can't, I don't know what to do. I'm trying. So I may have missed out on some sales. But again, if you were there and you did buy the book, or, maybe you are here now because of, because you found the show through the festival or whatever, you can buy it from me directly and I will sign it for you. So that's not a big deal.
She'll lick it too.
I will.
You
I'll
just
lick
gotta ask.
every one of them, the whole thing. Yeah, you just gotta. It doesn't even cost extra. It just costs the normal amount that you would pay to buy it. But no, yeah, it was good, but it was a lot, and we go home and I spend the next day or so recovering, because not just the Frogman Festival happened, but also fucking daylight savings motherfucking time. And I hate that shit.
Right.
Why do we do that? Why?
That was freaking awful. Oh my gosh. Day 2 of my show. I was so exhausted for some reason because of daylight savings time.
Right. It just knocks you on your ass. And I'm like, oh my God. Because normally, I'd come home, and I decompress Saturday night. Okay, I'm pretty much useless. And then Sunday I start, okay, I got to get back into the swing of things, But I just couldn't. I just couldn't bring myself to do it, to do anything.
Right.
I was just useless. So
I went straight to work Monday after a show and then tear down. And yeah, I was on my ass too.
That was
And
rough.
Mondays are always so boring at my work. So it's like everybody's pizzaed out after the weekend. So Mondays kind of sucks.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I did. I had to work Monday. Normally I would take that Monday off, but I guess I fucked around and everybody else took it off too. And I think they took it off because it was daylight savings time.
Oh, smart. I didn't even
Yep.
realize it was daylight savings time until I was leaving Saturday night.
No, I didn't until a week before. I was like, oh shit.
And on my way out, one of the guys was like, remember, clocks move back. I was like, huh?
No, they moved
Okay.
forward. That's the fucking problem. When they move back,
Yeah,
that's
something happened with them.
But I will say that because they move forward, I am enjoying. Right now, it is 7:30 at night, and there's light outside.
Yes.
I love that.
There's also snow.
Yeah, there is snow, but it was 70 this past weekend. So
It was 70 yesterday.
it's right. It wasn't that
Here, at least. Here it was.
Yeah, it was here too. So anyway, but it kind of makes you more motivated and upbeat.
Oh, yeah.
The seasonal depression's leaving the room.
Yeah, I
right?
got 9 paintings done in the last few days. I was definitely not ready to fall asleep when it was
Right.
daylight out.
Yeah, you're feeling good about yourself. And so I did watch some movies.
Okay.
Let's talk about them. I did watch The Other Good Boy that I had talked about previously.
Okay.
Where there's a man and another man, and one of the men acts like a dog all the time.
That one was up your alley. How was that?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I really, what? It wasn't the best movie I'd ever seen.
Mhm.
But I don't know if it's because I did watch it that Sunday immediately after, and I don't know if it's just because I was tired and I didn't catch it, but I didn't catch the twist. It really took
Okay.
me by surprise, and I was like, oh, okay. But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Check it out. It's Norwegian, so expect that it's subtitled, but
Mm.
fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. You
Yeah,
can get
that
through it.
just means I have to watch a movie with my glasses on, and I can't get
Well,
into it like that.
That's true. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And then I watched Primate.
Really? How was that one?
It was okay too. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I guess I knew what it was about. I know
Mhm.
it's about a rabid pet chimpanzee,
Right.
but
Is it the one that went crazy that was all over the news? Or is this a made up one?
it's fictional. You mean Travis the chimp? Is that what you're referring
Yeah.
to? We did a whole episode on that.
We did.
Yep. And
Or you did, and I
me
listened.
twice. Yeah. Yep, because they'll rip your fucking dick off. They go
Right.
straight for the dick. And but no, it probably was based on that. It's definitely not the
Okay.
only chimpanzee attack that's been out there.
Mhm.
But probably the most popular. No, this one was definitely not that, and it wasn't filmed with a real chimp.
Oh.
And which is, I get it. That's okay. We probably shouldn't have animals in show business, but you could tell sometimes.
Was it AI or like?
No, it was a suit and a mixture of puppets. Probably some of the shots were CGI'd in,
Okay.
but for the most part, practical effects. So good for them,
Okay.
because they could have went AI,
Right.
and did not. But I buy it. It's not too. It's very distracting in the very beginning because there's no action going on. But when the action starts, you totally forget.
Okay.
But
I'll have to
but
watch
it was
that one.
okay. I guess I didn't really expect it to be what it was, because for the majority of the movie they're stuck in a swimming pool,
Okay.
and I didn't expect that. I guess, I don't know. I thought that they would be not stuck in a swimming pool the whole time. But it worked out. So, but I do want to talk about one of the actors in the movie is deaf.
Okay.
And it's like, it's interesting because it's like, you see something like that's noticeable, right? That this person is deaf. And you're like, well, how does that come into play? Oh, chimpanzees. Obviously, they're using sign language. And they really didn't use a lot of sign language with the chimp.
Mhm.
It's really not a big deal. He's just a guy that's deaf. And I guess I appreciate that because the actor himself is a deaf man.
Okay.
And I suppose he just acted the hell out of that role. And so they were like, well, hell yeah, let's do it this way. I don't know,
Right.
how he ended up getting it, but he hasn't been in a ton of stuff. Obviously, because now you're integrating a deaf character into it all.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it was, as somebody who, my sister's deaf, and I'm all about the deaf community. It was nice to see that representation and just how normal it was. It was just very normal.
Well, that's
know?
good.
I don't know. Check it out. He signs and they're accurate. I always look for that if there's deaf people in a movie. I'm like, are they really signed in for real? Because they're not usually actually deaf.
They
Usually,
they just put their hands up and do whatever they want. Like,
sometimes, yeah, sometimes. I'll tell you though, there's this. Remember when parody movies were a big deal? We talked about the new Scary Movie coming
yeah.
out, but like for a long time, there was like all these parody movies.
Mhm.
Did you ever watch Date Movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Um, but there's this scene where like the two characters are like broken up and they're like montaging, and there's like a scene where I don't know if it's her or him, but one of them's in an elevator, and there's two people in the elevator, and they're signing to each other, and then it cuts away, and then it cuts back, and then when it cuts back, the two people that are signing to each other are having sex in the elevator. Well, what they signed to each other, and it was accurate, is "I want to fuck."
Wow.
And of course, me and my sister always got a kick out of that because we watched it together the first time, and we were like, "What? What did he just say?" And there they are. So it was funny because it was just, it's a joke that, like, again, if you're not deaf, like, you don't get it, or if you
Right.
don't sign, at least, you have no idea what they're saying. But yeah, no. So that was, like I said, that was interesting. But
I
check it out.
tried to get Brandon to take me to see The Bride this weekend, but he does not like going to the movie theaters.
Why?
I don't know. And let me ask you, because you worked at a movie theater. So when a movie theater closes, what do they do with all their movie posters?
What do you mean when it closes? You mean just when they take the posters down and switch them
No,
out?
like when it like shuts down.
Well, I didn't work at a movie theater that shut down.
I know, but don't you know anything?
I don't know anything
So
about any of that.
our movie
Uh,
theater in Worcester closed down. Its last day was Thursday last week. So I called up there and I said, "Hey, I was just wondering, are you guys selling your movie posters? And she said, no, we're not. Okay, well, what do you do with them? Because I know for a fact you have a whole office full of movie posters, not including what you've got since our daughter's boyfriend quit there. Like, am I supposed to go dumpster dive now? Like, what did you do with all those movie posters?
I mean, that's a very valid
That you
question.
wouldn't take the money from me to buy them. Like,
Yeah, we don't. I say we, like I'm still a part of it, but we don't sell the movie posters.
I know. It was like whoever worked there wanted them, you could take them home. But what do you do with the ones nobody wanted?
Yeah. So we would have customers obviously that would come up to us and they want things like the displays or the
Right.
posters or whatever. Our head usher would be the one that would kind of dole that out. But the thing is that it's kind of on the down low. Now, I worked at like a megaplex, right? So it's a
Mhm.
huge movie theater. It was a Cinemark,
Right.
and so he doesn't really want the word to spread that like he's the guy and he'll give you the hookup on the streets.
Right.
So he was very selective about who he would pull things for as far as like customers go. A lot of our regular customers he definitely would, and just I
Mhm.
don't know. I guess if the vibe was good, he'd do it. But he seemed to have a stash of like movie posters and displays for the most part, just hanging out. Now, sometimes what they would do is take all those displays and like there was always like a rotating box of posters in the break room.
Mhm.
So you could like go through and take what you wanted or, if you wanted anything. But yeah, I think it's weird that they were like denying you I mean,
Right.
unless I guess everything, everybody took everything that worked there, but
I highly doubt it.
but like I said, we can't sell them, so we don't get any benefit from just hanging on to them.
Right.
Unless maybe because it is closing, they are going to take them and sell them because fuck it, they're not going to lose their job if they do.
Well, sell them to me.
Right.
I called and offered you money.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Wow. So anyway, that was basically my last 2 weeks of my life here. I just kind of been enjoying the fact that I don't have any immediately pressing matters now that the book is out. And I'm just kind of focusing on my general life.
Did you find a place yet to move to?
No, not yet. I
Okay.
still have to. Well, I need to make some phone calls and go visit. Not this weekend, but the weekend after. So I'm planning.
Okay.
It takes a lot of time
It
and effort,
does.
which is something that I don't have. I'm like, I really need to jump in the car and go drive around and look at some places. But I took this weekend and I let me be me this past weekend. I'm like, I should just take a break. And I did, kind of.
Mhm. I mean, that's good. You need to do that sometimes. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what I did. I mean, we went to a wedding, but other than that, I stayed home and cleaned up the yard and worked on some paintings. And
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That was
I've got a
basically
few
it.
shows coming up and I need to restock.
So let's get on to the news. We got lots of news to talk about. I mean, I have two that I want to talk about, and they're both about Bigfoot.
Go figure. That's why I didn't even look into it. I knew you were going to bring it with you.
Did you
I
bring some?
have two. One is super small and super ridiculous, and the other one is serious about somebody here. But it's actually a news story, not just somebody I'm like venting about because I don't know this person.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the first Bigfoot topic, which blew the fuck up. I'm talking about the Ohio rash of Ohio Bigfoot sightings going on.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say rash of Ohio Bigfoot sightings, I mean there was like 6 of them or something, like
Yeah.
consecutively,
Yeah.
allegedly. So these are all being right now, well, they were all kind of coming through and being reported through Jeremiah Byron of the Bigfoot
Right.
Society podcast.
Wasn't he on the news for it too?
Yeah, Jeremiah was on the news for
Yeah.
it. It has made national news at this point, these Bigfoot sightings. So from my understanding, and maybe I'm incorrect because I kind of got a little overwhelmed with it all happening, is that there were 2 reports that were reported on there's like this tracking Bigfoot map.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some app that you can use to see all these Bigfoot sightings. And there were like 2 reports that had showed up consecutively that weren't detailed at all. And there's some flaws with the map in that, anybody can report anything on it.
Okay.
So, take it with a grain of salt. So these reports come up, and I think Tobias, I think Jeremiah, Jeremiah had gotten those sightings and had reported on them because, again, Bigfoot Society podcast.
Right.
And then
That's
people
what he's
started,
supposed to do.
That's right. That's what he does. So then people started reporting to Jeremiah directly sightings that were happening now. And, so he's kind of tracking it, and he's kind of making these updates on social media about every time he gets a new report about, and he gets a fuck ton of reports of his, Bigfoot sightings.
Oh, yeah.
In general. But again, these are all happening together, like a little cluster, a little flap of Bigfoot sightings. And, he's putting it out there, and then it's just growing. I don't know. It caught on like wildfire. He was telling me that like his website. So I reached out to him because we're friends, and I live here,
Mhm.
and I was ready to pack up and go this weekend to go hunt some Bigfoot, right? So I asked him, where are you getting these reports from? Are they're coming to you directly? Are there, what other details do you have? This, that, and the other. And he's sharing the tea,
Right.
But he's talking about how he's got like views, I think on his website or something, in the billions
Holy crap.
because of this. The billions, not the thousands. Not the 100,000s, not the millions, the billions, y'all. And so
Good job, Jeremiah.
I know, good for him. I thought for sure it'd be his Violent J interview that put him there, but here we are.
Violent J ain't got nothing on Bigfoot.
Right. So it's just blown the fuck up. And at this point, he's probably received hundreds, if not thousands of reports, because gosh, when he said hundreds, it was like a week ago. And of course, I know other, Bigfoot researchers in Ohio, right? And so, I reach out to them. What do you guys think about this? What do you think is going on? And there's some skepticism. I've actually seen a lot of people kind of talking some shit. And let me tell you, don't come and talk some shit about my Jeremiah Byron.
No.
Like, I will hurt you over that. He is the most wholesome person. All he does is report it. That's what he does. He is a Bigfoot reporter, and he's good at it. Whether or not those stories are true or whatever, that's not his job.
No.
His job is to report it. And that's what he does. So, but I don't know if people are getting uppity about Jeremiah. It just seems like some people are skeptical, thinking that this was kind of put on to, drum up some type of hype or excitement or whatever. Like,
okay, but let me say this to these people. If you have a Bigfoot sighting and you don't know where to go with it, but you see that there's a thing online called Bigfoot Society, don't you think that's probably where you'd report it to?
Where are you going to go? These people don't know about the BFRO.
Right.
They're just people. Exactly. I just think they're jealous. Now, again, I don't know if they're
like all the trolls on the internet. Somebody does anything good, there's always going to be people on there talking bad about them.
And that's the way, right? That's the way it is. There's always going to be somebody that you're pissing off.
And like the good part is, we all have podcasts and we go to these events and we like put stuff out there for ourselves, and we're all grown adults and know this stuff. So go ahead and say what you want.
Yeah, we don't care. God, I love when people hate listen to this show.
Right.
Because the algorithm don't give a fuck, and it still makes me money. So please listen on.
And please tell somebody else how much you hate it so they hate listen.
Yeah, so that they can hate listen. Right. And just get your whole group of people to hate
you
listen.
You can even comment on the Facebook page. We don't care.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Let people know so that way they can be like, why does this person hate this show so much?
Mm-hmm.
And then they listen and they find out, wow, it's actually pretty great. Best show ever. But no, I don't know. Again, this is coming from other researchers, and they're all vague posting. They're like, well, some people.
Researchers are the worst ones to take comments from.
And the Bigfoot guys are just the worst. You know, they're like, oh, people in the
Yep.
community just want to, clout chase. Basically what they're, and it's like, you're just
That's what
jealous.
you're doing all the time.
Right, constantly. Like, we're all not trying to get our names out there, okay? Whatever. That's
Mhm.
fine. It's like when people that do this stuff are like, I don't like attention. I don't care about attention. It's like, motherfucker, if you didn't like attention, you wouldn't be the center of it, okay?
Right.
Don't lie. But anyway, I'm just saying, so I go and I talk to some other people and I kind of get their, opinion on it. And of course, want to maybe get together with these people and let's go check it out.
Right.
But I had found out from somebody who is closer to the area, because this is all still about 3 to 4 hours away from me.
Where's it at?
It is right outside of Cuyahoga National Park.
So it's up there by like my kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, but here's the thing about it. I don't think, people have speculations. What's happening? They're migrating. The Bigfooter. They do move in herds. I'm going to put some Jurassic Park music on that one.
Da-da-da-da-da.
That's like one big theory. They're moving in herds. They're migrating. They're migrating. That's just what they do. That's why we can't catch them. They migrate. They move. I don't know about that, y'all. When I first started this, getting into this in 2020, I had received over 240 Bigfoot reports from that area, from Cuyahoga. Everybody loves to talk about Salt Fork.
Yeah.
They love it. Salt Fork, that's where Bigfoot is. Salt Fork. And I'm like, no, y'all, you're not looking in the right place. It's Cuyahoga. And which of course extends down to Salt Fork. It's all just nothingness in that area, right? We know that.
In Salt Fork, yeah.
Well, between Cuyahoga and Salt Fork, there's nothing.
Me.
Well,
Jeez.
okay, right. In the Amish country.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. But it's not like big cities, right? They're not going to Cleveland,
No.
It would be an area that makes sense for a North American primate to hang out, and that area is so expansive, they certainly could and go undetected. I don't think that this is a case of a Bigfoot flap per se. I just think that people have somewhere to report this to, just like when it came to Mothman and John Keel and, all these other quote unquote flaps, they have somebody to report it to, and that person's Jeremiah Byron.
Right.
And I don't hate that. After talking to a fellow researcher, he said that, in his many years of doing this, he went out to the area and he said he had never heard so many whoops and tree knocks ever in his time exploring that area, because it's fucking flooded with people.
Really?
Oh, yeah. People are coming from all over. It has now become like a big tourist area, where, people are out there and, they're annoyed, right? The Bigfooters trying to go out there, they're annoyed because the thing is that you get people out there, they're going to fuck with evidence. I've actually gotten, prints, people sending me pictures of prints out there that they've got. And, I just don't know.
Over by Boston Mills. Okay. That's an hour and 12 minutes for me.
We'll go out there.
I don't really care though.
Get some prints. So anyway, but I can't trust the prints because now there's so many people out there that
Right.
it could just be them doing it, if there's no evidence that you could possibly find being flooded in that area, but that's okay because the hype's going to die down and like you can still go out there and investigate like whenever you want to. It's just, you just go out there, you just go outside and go there and
Right.
you're there. And so, just wait like a month and then, go out there. And you're still going to probably...
And guess what? The weather might be nice when you go outside in a
Right.
month.
Yep, it'll probably be nicer. And, you could probably maybe encounter a Bigfoot because that's just a hot area for Bigfoot.
Unless they migrated already.
Yeah, they probably migrated and they left and went somewhere else. I don't know. It's all so silly. But yeah, that's my... I know you guys wanted to hear my opinion on it. I was going to make a video about it, but so many people are talking about it anyway, and I just,
There's no point.
they hate me anyway for saying shit like, yeah, this...
If I
this
ever
happens
want
all
to
the
know
time.
anything about Bigfoot, I am going to look at Jeremiah's page.
Sure, yeah, because he's probably got one of the biggest platforms for Bigfoot sightings, and rightfully so. He's earned it. Good for
Yeah.
him.
And going back to when you said, like, that's why we don't see them, because they migrate. We see birds migrate every year.
We still see them.
We see them.
We watch them migrate in the sky.
And these, do Bigfoots have formation? Like,
they make a giant foot and then then walk in their giant foot formation. That's really where the name comes from. Their feet are actually pretty small.
it's just there's so many of them migrating that we can't see.
I don't, you know what? There's been a lot of Bigfoot talk this week, and we'll get into Bigfoot story number 2.
If any actual 100% proof of a Bigfoot comes out, I hope it goes to Jeremiah first.
I agree. He deserves it more than anybody else. He's just so wholesome. Love that guy. Love Jeremiah Byron. Check out Bigfoot Society podcast for all your Bigfoot needs.
You will never be bored.
No.
There is always something on Bigfoot Society podcast.
Yeah, he is. Or, at minimum, go check out his Violent J interview. That's really neat. That's really something. All right.
He's going to get a huge spike in his Violent J interview show.
It's like, what's this from? It's from.
He's going to know exactly where it came from.
Yeah. He will. Yeah, we were way excited about it when that happened. He mentions me on it. In the
believe
podcast.
That. You juggalo.
Yeah. All right, it's your turn. Go ahead with your first news.
Okay, I'm going to do the stupid one first. Okay, so today, March 16th, Guinness World Records said the auction of Cheetozard, a flaming hot Cheeto shaped like the Pokemon Charizard, resulted in a new world record at $87,840, a video game likeness corn snack. It is the highest video game likeness corn snack ever sold at auction.
I gotta Google this right now.
It's in a case and everything. It does look like Charizard.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Right?
Wow. Cheetozard.
It says that it was purchased a few years ago on eBay for a whopping $350, and since it became viral on all the social media platforms, it is now sold for $87,840.
That's fucking insane. Who is the person who has the money to spend on a Cheeto?
Not quite sure.
I hope they're single. Do you think so?
It might be Logan Paul.
It might be Logan Paul.
He got rid of his. He might have needed a backup.
Why can't I get that lucky?
I don't know, but all these people with Jesus toast better save it.
Just wait it out.
Yep.
Hold on to it.
Starch that foam in your coffee that looked like Jesus. Make sure it doesn't move.
Oh, wow. Somebody, it's actually Will, sent me this video of this woman who had a haunted toaster. She was like it was like in the 90s, and she's like on TV. I don't know if it's real or not, but she's like on TV, and she's like, well, sometimes it burns real hot. It just has a mind of its own, and she like tries to use it. It's ridiculous. I'll have to find the video and share it. I'm going to share it to the Facebook group, and she like tries to use it, and it does like spark and shit. I don't know. She's like, it's demon possessed. Some people.
Devil toast.
That's the devil toast. Well, right, and it would make horrible toast. Obviously. So it's got to be demons. Oh, gosh. Well, that's pretty good. That's pretty wholesome. I like that.
Right.
That's a nice, fun story. Well,
I saw it and I was like, no way.
Of course. It's just, I don't know what timeline we live on, but it's ridiculous out here.
We can't pay the electric bill, but we can pay $87,000 for a Cheeto. Like,
yeah. So anyway, Bigfoot number 2 is, of course, the Patterson Gimlin film discussion. Have you seen? I'm sure you've seen this.
Yes, I have.
It's everywhere. A new documentary is going to be releasing this week. Actually, depending on when you listen to our podcast, it may already been out. Allegedly, it comes out this Thursday. It's called Capturing Bigfoot. in which the documentary filmmaker received a piece of undeveloped film from the original, from Roger Patterson. She didn't receive it. Her dad did. Her dad is supposedly the guy who developed the PG film. And he had this undeveloped piece of film that, of course, she found after he died. And she finally takes it to somebody. They get it developed. And then that person happened to be this filmmaker who then goes on to have the idea to create this film. What people are saying, people who have seen it, are saying that it is a 40-second clip of what appears to be a smaller, skinnier version of Patty. But that's clearly like a person in a suit doing the walk, right? So this calls into question, of course, the famous Patterson-Gimlin film that we've all come to know and love. Not just that, though. Not just that. Allegedly, in the documentary, there is a confession from the Pattersons. Patty Patterson, which is Roger's wife, and Clint Patterson, which is Roger's son, stating that, yes, it's a hoax. It's always been a hoax. We knew that. Clint goes on to say that he watched his father burn the original Patty suit in their yard.
Bullshit.
I don't know, man. This is something else. And the Bigfoot community has never been more heartbroken in their life. Or divided, that is. Now I'm going to wait to really, I'm going to wait for this to come out and check it out, right? Because there's, who knows why this is out there. But the thing is that if the Pattersons say it's a hoax, I mean, who are we? I mean, that's like the Gimlin film guy, right? Being like, oh no, it's definitely still real, even after the guy admitted it was fake. Who are we to then look at them and go, well, no, you don't know what you're talking about. It's still
Right.
definitely real. That's silly.
If it's like legitimately them saying that, then yeah, I'll give it to them.
Yeah, if it is legitimately them saying that, like, I suppose I want to see exactly what's said,
Right.
and once it releases. So when you film something, up until the time that it releases, you have an NDA.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who all's involved in the documentary itself, but it'll be interesting to see what happens when those NDAs lift after it's released, to kind of see what was used and what wasn't. Because, of course, there's movie magic, and you can manipulate things and make it seem like people are saying stuff that they're not. Or maybe this is me just trying to hang on to hope that the PG film is real, because I want it to be real, because I have like fought for my life for this film.
Well, like the only thing that like I go back to with the PG film is like the original one is back in that day. How would you ever be able to afford a suit like that where you're not like high dollar employees of somewhere and then you just burn it?
I agree. And, nobody's ever recreated the suit.
Right.
People have tried, but they're not good. They're not good recreations, So I agree. I mean, it was definitely probably one of the most impressive suits we've ever seen. If this is a hoax, this is a damn good hoax.
And that was how many years ago?
That was 1967.
Like, and they can't do it now, make anything look anywhere near that good? Like, no, I'm sorry.
Right. It's a big deal. Especially Roger Patterson was not made of money.
Right.
He wasn't very rich, and people are like, oh, well, how come a year before that he drew a picture of a female Bigfoot? Or it's because the guy was researching Bigfoot. And the reason why they were in Bluff Creek is because people had reported seeing Bigfoot and female Bigfoot in that area.
Right.
That's one of the reasons. Another one was the Ray Wallace footprints, which we did find out were hoaxed after he died, which kind of called into question. I mentioned that, people ask me, how'd you get into this? Well, one of the stories is that I was probably 10 or 11 years old, and I read this article, and it was about how Bigfoot wasn't real because of the Ray Wallace prints being faked. And if those were fake, that means the PG film was faked because Roger Patterson went out there to film, because that's where Ray Wallace found those prints.
And people are still researching today, though, even with what did Coyote do like 2 years ago with that skull?
Yeah, the skull.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that if all of your belief and all of your evidence are staked on this one piece of video, you should probably reconsider what you're doing.
Right.
Because there's more evidence out there besides the PG film. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt your feelings, and it's gonna hurt the community that this is fake. It is. People are not going to take it seriously anymore. I mean, even some of the general population, not the Bigfoot community, but the general population that usually thinks we're ridiculous. But there's a lot of people on the fence who are like, well, I don't know, maybe once they hear that film's fake, they're over that fence and they're gone. They're out of here. So we need to do better. And, I keep saying that this is kind of a time for us to reflect on that community as a whole and kind of maybe set some standards for ourselves going forward. And, kind of what we pay attention to. And, maybe let's get some real science involved.
Yeah. I
I'd
mean,
love that.
people can afford it now. Get the science involved. They're doing science on stupid shit. Do it for this.
I know. I saw that they're working on curing baldness.
Great.
Yeah, but they can't spare the money to research Bigfoot. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about it for now. We'll see what happens because I want to see.
You can't really say anything else about it until you see it.
No, just kind of acknowledging it, and I'm not going to be. I've seen so many people that are like in complete denial about it being fake. I'm open. I don't want it to be fake. Obviously, I want it to be real, but I'm open.
Well, realistically, even after you see it and know all the tricks that people can pull these days, you still have to be open because you don't know.
Right, I wasn't there.
Right, you have no idea what's fake and what's real in this thing. Believe what you want to believe still. If you want to think that's the best movie or best clip that you've ever seen and that's proof of Bigfoot, you probably can still believe that after you see this movie.
I just, I have never believed in a pair of titties so much in my entire life.
Wow.
And I'll be so sad if I have to give up my belief of them titties.
I mean, I don't have to give up my belief on anything until it's proven 100% false.
That's true.
So.
That's fair. Fair enough. That's fair. Anyway, go ahead with your other news, and then we'll finally get into tonight's topic. Sorry, guys, it's been a lengthy one.
Right. I just got to say this before I get into it, because guess what was on TV yesterday?
What was on TV yesterday?
A marathon on Travel Channel of the Lost Monster Files. And guess what? I watched it again. God. I watched it when it first came out. I watched it before we interviewed Charlie, and then I watched it all again yesterday. So
it's like becoming a part of your life now.
I know. I just rewatch stuff all the time. They're quite interesting, though.
I still haven't watched them. Sorry, Charlie. Oh, but I will. I'll check them out.
Yeah. So nice guy. That being said, I mean, shout out Charlie. I watched you again. Okay, so everybody knows, unless they're first listening now, that I live in Millersburg. I live in Amish country. So back in August, you might remember me telling you this. There was a Amish woman who tried to kill her whole family because God told her to do it.
I remember this.
Okay, so her name is Ruth Miller. She is the Amish woman accused of drowning her 4-year-old son at Atwood Lake in Tusky County. She will eventually be confined to a behavioral health care facility in Massillon. Not guilty by reason of insanity, last August, witnesses saw Miller drive a golf cart into Atwood Lake with her 3 teenagers. The 3 teens were able to walk out of the water, but Miller had told authorities she threw her 4-year-old into the lake to give him to God. Her husband also drowned himself, in the beginning as well, before she drove the golf cart into the lake. So instead of putting her ass in prison like they would do anybody else, they decided that she had bipolar disorder and they were going to put her in a psych hospital for her punishment in Massillon, Ohio, which is maybe 40 minutes away from Millersburg, where she lives. Not good enough for me.
Fair.
I'm going to say that she drowned her little toddler and her husband died, which I don't know how that happened, if he was crazy or what was going on. And then she tried to kill her other 3 kids, but didn't realize the water wasn't deep enough in the lake where the golf cart would actually stop and the kids could just stand up because they were 18 years old.
Yeah, so I mean, she would have killed them, right, if she could have.
Right.
If
She tried
realized,
and tried to
yeah.
kill herself because
I
God
don't
told her to.
I don't really know what the difference is between life inside of like a mental hospital or life inside of a prison. I don't think it's much besides the food.
Um, the medication,
Well, you get medicated in prison.
not like a mental hospital.
You get drugs though too in prison.
You can if you can afford them.
You can, well, yeah, if you can afford them.
If you
You
got
know,
that ramen, I mean, you can, but is she gonna have people putting money on her books for killing
you
people? Like, you
get
know what
them
I
little
mean?
Debbie's. Well, yeah, I don't know if they get like a commissary in long-term care facilities like that.
But I mean, it does say that the judge will see her again in 6 months to evaluate her, and then every 2 years after that. So she could still go to prison
Oh,
or get released. Like, it didn't really say like what the options were. It
I
didn't give
miss.
like a 25 to life sentence or anything. It just said behavioral like institution, and then get reviewed in 6 months, and then every 2 years after that. So I'm not really sure where they're going with that.
It would have to be for because she can't get tried again. That would be double jeopardy. But she could get tried if she did something else to somebody else, a different
Correct.
crime, while she's in there. So probably for release, but someone like that doesn't need to be out in the streets.
Yeah. So, and the other, like, I don't know what her kids have to say, like the surviving ones, the older ones. Like, she was like in contact with them still, like, I guess during the court hearings.
Oh.
So they're like, I don't know. I don't understand this. Yeah, but she's still being held at the county jail because I guess there's a long waiting list at this facility and there's not a bed for her yet.
Good. Jail sucks.
It does.
So I'm happy for her.
But I
I
don't think
just
bipolar disorder, like, makes you think you're a prodigy, does it?
So there are different types of bipolar disorder. And in some of them, you can't have these grand delusions. People talk about schizophrenia like it's like the end all be all. It's like the worst thing you can
Right.
have. It's not. It's not. Yeah, you can have massive delusions. Bipolar disorder is very dangerous if it's unchecked
Right.
with that certain type. I don't know the different types, but I've known people that have like that extreme type. And actually, she tried to kill me. So, yeah.
And being Amish, I highly doubt that it's checked.
No.
It's probably not it wasn't a diagnosed disorder before this happened and people had to look into it because they don't really go to the doctor for that
They
stuff.
don't really. Yeah, they don't really do that. Well, interesting. We don't normally get updates on things.
Right.
So I appreciate the updates, but no, I agree. I think that I don't know. Is that insanity? I have no idea. How could some things be insanity, but some things aren't? Like Jeffrey Dahmer wasn't considered insane,
Right.
but like you're
Transitioning
not
into this story, he wasn't insane either.
right. I mean, but you're not. It's not normal to try to create sex slaves out of people and then eat them. Like that's what the fuck do you call that? It's fucking wild.
That's true.
But yeah, no, that is a pretty good segue into tonight's topic, which we're going to be getting into. Let's get into it. How about that?
An hour and 3 minutes in. Here's a story.
Ooh, finally, people are gonna be bitching about this one. Like, well, I came to
No.
listen about the Amityville horror. Well, sorry. There's timestamps for a reason.
Yeah.
The algorithm will pick that up. Skip ahead. Even though it's already too late for that because we're pretty much there. I'm just drawing it out even more, just to get your dollars.
Yeah. What's your favorite color?
Get that ad revenue. I like glitter. Glitter's my favorite color. Yep. Anyway, let's get into it. The Amityville horror. It is. I mean, it's like the most popular paranormal case, probably in the entire world, right?
Yeah.
This is a huge fucking story. For people, and I don't think it's justified, to be honest with you.
Not at all.
I think that there's spookier, creepier stories with more evidence. People are going to ask me why I think that is. Well, we have a whole discussion thread over on the Facebook page on Wednesdays We Talk Weird, where you can talk about this week's episode. Ask me there. I'll answer it.
Well, we're pretty much going to tell everybody, aren't we?
Well, we're going to tell everybody about this case. I was talking about comparable cases that I think deserve
Oh,
more
okay.
attention.
Gotcha.
So anyway, this, like I said, this is a big fucking deal. And we'll get into the creepy details about it. But, before we get into the creepy details about it, we really need to talk about the beginning. I'm sure that's a movie title, Amityville Horror, The Beginning, because there's like 20 of them or something, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot.
I've seen the original. I have not seen any of the others, and even the original, I don't think it's that good.
I've seen the Ryan Reynolds one.
Oh, I didn't even know he was in one, but that's not surprising. So, getting into basically the beginning of it, we do have a pretty interesting
There
story.
are over 50 Amityville horror movies.
Over 50?
Yes.
I really undershot that with the 20. Wow.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
It's not that interesting. That part's not the interesting part. The haunting part. I don't think that's that interesting.
There's not one called The Beginning.
Wow. Well, here
There's
it is.
gonna
Here
be
now.
51.
Right. So somebody make this, because this is the story that's actually, like I said, I think this part of the story is more interesting than the rest of it. So getting into it, on the night of November 13th, 1974, around 3 a.m., 6 of the 7 members of the Defeo family were murdered one by one while asleep in their beds with a .35 caliber Marlin rifle at their home at 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York. Ronald Defeo Sr. and Lois Defeo were shot twice, while their children, Dawn, Allison, and John, were all shot once. They were all laying face down in their beds, and forensic evidence suggests that potentially Lois and Allison were alive at the time of the attack. 15 hours later, an unsettled Ronald Butch Defeo Jr. would walk into Henry's bar, local bar in the area, shouting, "You gotta help me, I think my mother and father are shot." And everybody in the bar is like, "Oh, I gotta see this shit." And so they all go and gather around the home at, again, 112 Ocean Avenue to witness a horrific scene, which was, in fact, every member of the Defeo family, besides Ronnie Jr., had been shot and killed. So, like I said, this part is the interesting part about it.
Mm-hmm.
The murder itself, there's so much to this, and so many stories woven into this, and we're definitely going to obviously get into those stories. Of course, the police, they did not immediately expect Ronnie Jr. to be the killer. In fact, he was taken into police custody for protection because Butch Defeo, Ronnie, Butch, whatever you want to call him,
Mm-hmm.
he insisted that the family was actually murdered by a mob hitman named Louis Fellini.
And let me tell you, Butch has a lot of balls for even throwing that kind of name out there.
He really does. Well, there's like a lot of talk about how some of the DeFeo family members were involved with the mob.
Yeah, it was the Genovese crime family.
Which is probably true.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. But he insisted that this was the case. Except here's the problem: is that the police locate Louis Fellini, and he had a rock solid alibi. In fact, he wasn't even in the state at the time of the murders, and could
No.
prove that.
Yeah.
So within a day of this discovery, he confesses. Ronnie Jr. confesses to the murders, and he states, quote, "Once I started, I just couldn't stop. It went so fast." And I heard that is the new Pringles slogan. I thought that once you pop, you can't stop sounded a little too sexual, so they decided to go with this one instead. And I don't blame them.
Right. I mean, obviously, it made headlines once.
Once I started, I just couldn't stop. It went so fast. All of a sudden, your can's gone. We've all been there.
Yep. We've all got our hands stuck.
Yeah, we got our hands stuck. Yeah, even your bag of Cheetos, right? Maybe that's why I've never found a Cheetos Zard, because I just can't stop. I don't know.
Right.
But he says that. I mean, he says it. I did it. I don't really know why. He admits that after the murders, he took a nice bath. He hid evidence. So he hid some of the clothing, the gun, obviously. And then he went to work like everything was normal.
Right.
So, and this is like the original confession, right? This is what he says happened. Notice
Right. You had the
no-
first one when he blamed the mob, and then the one that he did the day later in interrogation.
Right. Notice there's no spooky, scary stories. There's no other. Well, there is another person initially, but somebody who is just completely not related at all to them, I guess. I don't know if maybe they did know him. I don't even know what the connection was between anybody in the family and this Vanilli guy. But it doesn't matter. He didn't do it.
Right.
He could prove he didn't do it. But yeah, there's a lot missing from here. Well, in order to try to, get Ronnie Jr. off, not in that way, Defeo and his lawyer had tried for an insanity defense.
Yeah. And this was a year later at trial in 75.
Yeah. And his original insanity claim was very simple. He didn't remember killing his family. Didn't remember it. Other things would happen. We'll get into those other things here in a moment. But the insanity plea did not work. He was charged with 6 counts of second-degree murder and sentenced to 6 life sentences. And he would die in prison March 12th, 2021.
Right.
Let's talk about everything in between.
In 75, when they tried to claim insanity, the psychiatrist came back and said that Defeo was a user of heroin and LSD, and he also had antisocial personality disorder, but was aware of his actions at the time of the crime.
Yeah. Again, what makes someone insane?
It might have been the LSD.
It could have been, right? Was he high on LSD when it happened? He never said that he was. I mean,
he probably didn't remember.
we have an idea of like what he did afterwards, but you're telling me all that took 15 hours for him to do? Like, what the fuck was happening between the time of the murders?
He went to work
for 15 hours.
Well, no, he had to take a bath first
and hide evidence. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You always gotta have a nice bath, a nice calming bath after you kill your family. But before you go to work, you gotta decompress. It gets off the rails. Absolutely not one fucking person in Amityville, which is it's part of Long Beach, but it's not a big area. It's like a little village. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Not one person was shocked to hear that it was Ronnie Jr. that did this.
And that's saying something right there.
Yeah, not one. There are, in fact, reports that, like, they expected it because he would always threaten to kill his family all the time.
Oh, wow.
To the point to where I believe a psychiatrist or a doctor or somebody of some authority had told, Mama Defeo that if you don't do something about this, he's going to kill you.
Okay.
And well, guess what happened? But we hear that Ronnie Sr. was like an abusive piece of shit to his kids. I don't know. This is the 1970s. There's not a whole lot of information, but that's just kind of what word on the street is that he was very abusive. He was a drunkard, which isn't surprising again for the 70s either.
Right.
So the 60s into the 70s, right? Because let's talk about that. Ronnie was the oldest. Being the oldest boy in the family, he probably did get a lot of pushback from his dad. He worked for his dad. I'm sure they didn't get along that well.
Oh no, you can't get along working with family.
No, and he probably did feel some type of way. Ronnie did partake in a lot of drugs. He was kind of a fuck up, like already.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knew that. So again, nobody was surprised that this happened, but the story just continues to get weirder and weirder. As he's trying to get this insanity plea in, it wouldn't be the first time that it wouldn't be the last time that he would try it during that trial. He'd also appeal continuously in court. And the story would change
every time.
Every time. And the stories that he tells are his family was going to kill him. So he had to kill them first before that happened. Was like one of the original ones. Then it changed to, it wasn't his family that was threatening to kill him. It was a voice that said that he needed to kill his family, otherwise the family was going to kill him.
Yeah, the voices in his head that he kept hearing.
Yeah. And then it was not voices in his head, but rather a black cloaked figure with black hands physically handed him the gun that night and convinced him to go and kill all of his family. And then it wasn't just that. Then it was, well, I didn't kill them. Dawn, my sister, so the oldest girl in the family, she killed the family. Her and dad got into a big fight. She had this boyfriend she was seeing. Nobody liked him. She wanted to go run away with him. They said, no, she can't. And she got upset and killed the family. And when he noticed that she killed the family, he killed her in retaliation.
But it was on accident because they were fighting over the rifle.
Yeah, but...
Or is that a different one?
It's a different one, but
Okay.
same concept, but now it changed, right? Again.
Right.
To, but it was an accident. Then it changed to, well, me and Don were going to kill our parents so that we could get their money because we hate them. They're abusive pieces of shits. And, but then Don killed the younger kids too because they didn't want witnesses.
And then that made him mad. So he killed Dawn because they were fighting over the rifle.
So, I mean, and then,
but that was when, are you going to talk about his quote unquote wife?
Go ahead, talk about the wife.
Okay. So this one, he claimed that he was married to Geraldine and her brother came with him the whole time because apparently he was living with Geraldine in New Jersey and his mother called him to come home to break up a fight between Dawn and his father. So he drove home, but with Geraldine's brother, Richard. But he made it so Richard knew the whole story. He was there the whole time, could be his alibi.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to Richard.
Which, yeah, he wasn't... Okay, well, I'm gonna slow down. Because there's so many.
So that was in 1990 that Defeo had this story. Defeo had this story.
I know, it's hard not to call him Defeo.
Yeah, I know.
I kept typing it in my notes.
So in 1992, the court got a statement from Geraldine where she admitted in court that Richard did not exist. Defeo just made him up. And that she did not marry Defeo until 1989 in anticipation of the filing of the 440 motion. Yeah. Where he was trying to say, I guess the 440 motion was claim ineffective assistance of counsel or constitutional violations or something. He was trying to claim that so he could get a new trial.
Yeah. Right. They weren't even married at the time.
Right.
That he says, and that's easily proven in court.
She was actually married to another man she was living with at that time.
In upstate New York, right,
Yep.
away from all this. And not to mention, Defeo was well known in the area. Everybody knew that he worked for his dad in that area. He was there every day in that area. I mean,
My question is, why would you even marry this guy, though, in 89, knowing that he killed his whole family and he's in prison?
People do that shit. We should cover that one day. I don't know why they do that shit, but they do that shit.
Like, what are you benefiting from this? Unless you're just, like, in your heart, like, you have to live by thinking you're helping someone else live? Like, I don't know.
It's these, like, I don't, they have a name. I can't remember the name that they call them, but, like, these people that marry these killers in prison, I mean, it's nuts. They get fan mail. It's insane. Look at Chris Watts. He still gets women sending him nudes and all kinds of shit proposals, and he killed his whole family.
That's freaking crazy.
It's nuts. It's absolutely fucking wow. You know, and I've thought about writing to like serial killers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just because like it is fascinating, right? And they do die eventually, and so it's like maybe I should write to them because I'll never be able to. But you know what? Don't do that shit.
No.
Don't do it unless you get a PO box. And
I was going to say, don't put your address on that shit.
No. If you get a PO box and then you're prepared to create an entirely fake identity to write to them, don't tell them nothing about you. Because here's the thing: is that they're in prison people that are gonna get out one day, and they're nuts because the justice system fucking sucks, and it releases people all the time that shouldn't be out there. And if they get a hold of one of your letters, because they will sell that shit for cigarettes and Little Debbie's in prison. And they know anything about you and they come looking for you?
Yep.
Yeah, no. That shit does happen. Don't do it.
It's called hybristophilia or Bonnie and Clyde syndrome.
When they fall in love with these prisoners?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, maybe we'll talk about that one day. It gets real fucking wild.
Because there's lots of them. They even have that show, Love After Lockup. I mean, they're not killers, but still fucking weird.
No, there's plenty of infamous wives. I mean, Charles Manson was dating that cute girl. She was cute. I mean, she married him, and it's like, what's wrong with you?
Yep.
You know, and then Ted Bundy had that one wife, and she was with him for like the whole time he was in prison. I'm pretty sure they had a baby together.
How? Conjugals?
Yeah.
Fucking dumb. Do they even do that anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't think they do either.
I don't think they do.
I don't really care. I don't want to find out, but...
And it's like he literally raped and killed some teenagers. Like, why would you have a child with that? Anyway, these people. So, getting back to old Ronnie.
Yeah.
Obviously, the guy is not very trustworthy. But people do still have questions about the murders. I'm not a gun person. I don't care if you have guns. Just I don't know jack shit about them, really. But from what I've read repeatedly is that this Marlin rifle, this 35 caliber rifle, isn't quiet at all.
No. It's
loud as fuck. And so a lot of people take issue with the fact that why wouldn't any of the family members have woken up and tried to fight or tried to run or any of that unless there were multiple people in the house committing the crime, right? So you had maybe up to three people, one in each bedroom, doing it at the same time. I don't have an answer to that question. That is a really good question. Some people think they know. They claim that Ronnie had drugged the family during family dinner that night and that they were so drugged up that they couldn't wake up. They were, but there was nothing like that found in any of the family members' systems. No, but Defeo did tell the investigators that that's what he did in his interrogation. He did say that, yeah. He did admit to that. But again, he told him he did a lot of things that were right. So they didn't find any evidence of that. As far as the Dawn fight goes, some people believe Dawn maybe was involved. There does seem to be some truth to this tale of there was a big family fight that happened.
Well, I
right before
also have
this.
the question of I don't know if it's just because she was the oldest next to him or if there was a problem between her and Dawn, but like him and Dawn, but in a lot of his stories, he's blaming Dawn for everything.
Yeah.
Like, is there some kind of like rift between the two siblings or?
Some people have this theory that they were in some type of incestuous
I
relationship
was
together.
thinking that too when I was researching this.
And, again, the story is that they had some big fight, and it was over the fact that Dawn was trying to go live with her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I think there is some truth to that part of the story. I think that there was some tension. I think this was probably the type of family that had tension all the time.
Right.
But I do think there was definitely some type of extra tension that was going on in the days leading up to all this.
Remember the Brady Bunch movie where it was like Greg and Marsha were like in the upstairs like attic bedroom with the curtain between them and they were having weird thoughts about each other? That's what this reminds me of.
What? I don't remember that. Was that when they went to Kings Island?
I don't know if it was that one or the other movie, but it was one of them.
Fuck. Fucking weird.
If it can
No
happen in
idea.
the Brady Bunch, it can happen anywhere.
You ever seen Flowers in the Attic?
Yes.
I can't bring myself to read the book, but I've heard it's good.
Mhm.
I guess it's good for what it is.
Right.
Anyway, sure, stuff happens. People get confused, especially mentally ill people. Not saying that I'm here for incest. I don't usually kink shame, but
That one's different.
go to therapy. Fuck, I don't know.
Right.
But I don't know if I buy that. I don't think Defeo ever said that they did. I just feel like people assumed that they did.
No, it's just weird that he is trying to accuse her of all the murders and all these different stories. So in his head, there's got to be something, and like a relationship is one of the things that comes to mind.
Well, in one of the stories, he says that it was his mom. It was Lois who killed the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and then Dawn killed her,
Yep.
and then he got mad and killed Dawn.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's playing
killing Dawn in all of the stories, though. Like he is the one killing Dawn.
like that seemed to be his target.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but in all fairness, I mean, he did kill Dawn, like for real. That did happen.
Yeah, for sure.
But I agree. Maybe there was some type of.
But he doesn't want to admit to killing any of the other ones. Dawn killed all those, but he killed Dawn. So he definitely wants to know, like, have people know that he was the one that killed her.
What do you think about the theory that there were other people involved?
I don't think so. I think it was just him.
I don't think so either. There's this one story that goes around that claims that there was a DEA agent that was hanging out outside of the Defeo house because they were watching. They thought that they were involved in drugs again. That kind of mob tie that they have,
Right.
And that the DEA agent does state that he saw Dawn leaving the house in a black hoodie and black gloves, which Defeo said that he was given the gun by a black cloaked something with black hands.
That's
but
true too. I don't know.
except I did some digging, and that story is not true.
Just like every other story.
just like most of this story. That's why you go the extra mile. You got to find out. But no, I found out that was just not accurate. There's no police reports of that. There's no reports of the DEA being involved in watching the house. There's no evidence, really, that the family had mob ties. There really, really isn't.
Well, back in 74, like, could they test for all the like sedatives and poisons if they want to, or is
I
it?
don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like,
So
I really think he drugged everybody. Like, that's what I feel.
Yeah, so he definitely could have. Yeah, I don't think that they could have done a full toxicology report like we do now.
Right.
We didn't have DNA. I mean, there's so much we didn't have at that time, to know any different. So,
Mhm.
as I mentioned, and of course his claims of ghosts and stuff, demons and voices, this is all going to become really, really important to the story. Obviously.
Yeah.
Because we all know what happens next, right? 13 months after the murder takes place in December 1975, George and Kathy Lutz purchased the home at 112 Ocean Avenue. They had 3 kids, and they had a dog, right? A dog named Henry. That's important to the story. There's a bit with the dog. We'll talk about it. So before they had purchased the house, in their first walkthrough of it, the realtor was up front, and I think that probably, if they were local to the area, they probably knew the story. But she told them right away, yeah, there was some people died here. Some people were killed here. And they're like, that's not a big deal. And the house was definitely marked a lot lower than what it was worth. It's a beautiful home. I'm not going to describe the Amityville home to you if you don't know what it looks like.
Like, what do you think it would have actually been worth in that time if it wasn't like a murder house?
So the movie says $120,000.
I know, and they paid $80,000.
They paid $88,000 in the movie.
In his interviews, it says $80,000.
Right, in real life,
right?
They paid $80,000. So
okay.
I don't know if $120,000 is accurate in the movie,
right?
either,
okay,
but it was definitely discounted. But that
in today's day, it'd probably be closer to $850,000.
Yeah, probably easily.
But in the haunting, if the haunting comes to be accurate, it's probably over $1 million.
Well over $1 million.
Yeah.
Even without the haunting, with all we know now, it still goes for a pretty damn penny.
Mm-hmm.
That house. But anyway, it is a beautiful house. It really is. It's huge. It's right on the water. They had a pool. They had a boathouse. They had a little guest house.
It was 6 bedrooms, I think it said.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Huge and beautiful and in a great location. So, I mean, for the price, you really can't beat it. $80,000.
Right. Take your chances and hope that the spirits haven't built up enough energy and know how to use it yet.
I don't even think there's anywhere in America right now that you could buy an $80,000 house.
No, even our rentals were more than that.
Yeah, I don't even think that's possible.
Right.
Like, even a fixer-upper, I don't know.
Don't
prove me wrong. I don't
fixer-uppers.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, they couldn't beat the price, and they're like, you know what, we're not superstitious people. Like, we don't believe in that, so it's fine. But everybody, that knew that they were buying this house, their friends, everybody was like, you should probably, maybe not buy that house. Got some bad juju, and people feel some type of way about that. When you know that somebody's died in your house, some
especially
people
6 people
that were murdered right in your house,
and some were children. I mean, that's just bad vibes.
And a lot of people have that. I don't care because somebody, I know that people have died right where I'm standing right now. A lot of people. There's been I think it's 190 billion people have lived and died on this planet.
Yeah.
It's impossible for you to stand on ground where somebody hasn't died multiple times a day. But
but dying of a heart attack and then dying by a whole family murder by shot to the head is kind of different.
I'd probably think about it a little, but I'd probably still buy the house for $80,000. I'm like, fuck yeah, sign me up, shit.
Well, in today's day, yeah, for sure.
Me and those demons.
But if it's on an Indian burial ground, I'm done. No, I'm counting me out.
So they buy the house, but their friends are like, okay, buy the house, that's fine, but maybe you should have it blessed. And they're like, well, they were non-practicing Christian. I think George was a Methodist and Kathy was a Catholic, I guess, something, but they didn't really practice. And they're like, you know what, that's fine. We'll bring a priest in, we'll have him bless the house. And as the story goes, allegedly, Father Ralph J. I don't know how to say his last name, so I'm not going to. I think it's Peccacaro, I think. Mm-hmm. Call him Father Ralph. Father Ralph would state that he came out to the home one day, and during his visit, he was slapped across the face and told by an ominous voice to get out. did not tell the Lutz family that happened to him. He promptly left and gave them a call and warned them about the particular bedroom, which is where the two younger siblings were killed in. He said that don't let anybody sleep there ever. And they were like, okay. And allegedly during this phone call, he didn't really get the chance to explain because the phone was like fucking up and had like static and stuff.
I probably would have. That's not very good priest if you don't tell him while you're there.
Yeah, he didn't tell him that.
That's not very godly.
However, I will rip the Band-Aid off this one real quick. Eventually, the Lutzes would sue a whole bunch of fucking people. And
Yes,
one
I
of
was
those
gonna get
people-
into that too.
Yeah, well, we'll talk more about it in depth here in a little bit. But one of those people that they were suing was William Weber. I think it's
Weber.
William Weber, which was the defense attorney for Ronald Defeo Jr. And in a affidavit to the courts during that lawsuit, Father Ralph J. would claim that he never set foot inside of that household.
Correct.
He had only ever talked to the family on the phone. However, he then goes on later to appear on shows like In Search Of, retelling that story about being slapped in the face and told to get out. So, did he lie under oath? Or did he lie for TV?
He was using his relationship with Jesus as clout.
It's something else. That's very suspicious. So I couldn't confirm if he had ever been out there or not. I mean, if I go by the court documents, which again is under oath, and you can literally go to jail for lying to them, I don't know what to do but assume that he actually never did go there. That maybe the Lutzes thought it was all silly and decided against doing it because it's very performative.
Yeah.
And I think maybe they weren't into that. But I know you guys are probably nervous. I'm going to go through and dismiss everything. I'm not going to go through and dismiss everything. I'm just telling you the facts as they are. Things from day one at the household would be strange. In fact, on the very first day, while they're moving their stuff in and out of the house, I mentioned their dog, which was a big dog. It was a Malamute Labrador mix. Big dog. They had chained the dog up outside in the yard so that way they could, safely move everything to and fro. And at one point they go out to the yard and they find the dog had jumped over the fence with its tie on and was hanging there. And thankfully they caught it early enough. The dog was okay, but wouldn't have been, right, for much longer.
Right.
So of course, that's spooky. But let me tell you something about dogs. They do that shit.
All the time.
My mom's dog, her mean dog, Pepper, her vicious dog, he loves me. And one time she had come over and the dogs are in the car and she didn't come over. She just kind of stopped and she had the dogs in the car and she rolled down the window for me to say hi to Pepper. And she's got a leash on him attached to the seats because they're driving. And guess what he does?
Tries to jump out and hang himself.
He jumps out, that motherfucker, right? And hung himself. And I had to pick his ass up and hurry up and put him in the car. It was crazy. My mom's like, oh my God, I didn't think he'd ever do that. Well, no, you don't. You don't think your dog's going to try to hang themselves. So I don't know, spooky or not, whatever. That wasn't the only occurrence that happened. Of course, from day one, they had general haunting stuff, right? Cold spots in area. In fact, George Lutz claimed that he could never get warm in that house. Doors opening and closing, cabinets opening and closing, things flying off shelves. Again, typical haunting stuff, which is, honestly, it's pretty harmless. That stuff's pretty harmless.
Right.
You can live with that. As long as they're not breaking your shit, I could deal with it.
It's kind of like a poltergeist.
But then George, every single night, starts waking up at 3:15 a.m., the same time that the Defeos were all murdered, allegedly. And a lot of those instances, he couldn't move. He was like paralyzed, which is horrifying. But nothing that can't be explained away with sleep paralysis.
Right.
It does happen. It is a real phenomena.
And
I don't know.
he knew the story of what happened, so
Right.
in his mind, I mean, 3:15 would be the time you wake up and go into sleep paralysis because that's what you're scared of.
Right, exactly. No surprise there, but okay. Okay, but that's fine. But one evening, George woke up and woke Kathy up. This one's wild. And when he did, she transformed into a 90-year-old woman and stayed that way for hours.
Yeah, I didn't
With
even write that one down. It was so crazy.
full-blown wrinkles. It's insane. And they didn't call nobody?
Who do you call?
Ghostbusters.
Was that movie out yet?
No, it wasn't. It was definitely that was the 80s. This is the 70s.
It
No,
was
but
before my time. I know that. It
you
was
called
before
the
your
fucking
time.
you called the fucking priest that supposedly was at your house. You called the police. I mean, whoever. Listen, if your partner transformed into an old person before that's not normal.
No,
You
you
know,
just sit there and stare at him.
you call somebody. Right. Instead he just sat there and was like, I mean, what would they talk about? You know what I mean? She's like, I'm gonna go get my shuffleboard on at the bingo tonight. I mean, what are they? What, what do you mean she transformed into a 9-year-old woman for hours? See, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But maybe she did. That would be creepy. That'd be fucked up if it happened. But there's absolutely no proof at all whatsoever that this happened because he fucking sat there and didn't call anybody and just let it happen.
Nobody.
I mean, he was having sleep paralysis and he couldn't move. I don't know. That part's never really explained well. But
I wonder why.
So then their youngest daughter makes a new friend at the house. Okay. The new friend's name is Jody. Jody is an angel, but also a pig person.
Oh. I didn't get that from what I was reading. Okay.
You didn't get the pig part?
No, I got the pig part,
Oh.
but I didn't get that it was
Angel part.
Jody.
Jody, yeah. Jody is Missy, the youngest daughter. She's like 5. Has this friend named Jody. And at first, the Lutzes were like, "Oh, she's got an imaginary friend." But she had insisted that Jody told her that she was an angel, and sometimes would appear that way, but also sometimes would be like half pig, half human. Sometimes Jody would be a full-blown pig,
Oh.
but like small, like a little teacup pig.
Right.
But then sometimes Jody would be a half pig, half human thing. And she described this. She drew a picture of Jody, and it's horrifying. But the family, actually stated that not only was Missy seeing Jody, they've seen Jody because Jody had these bright red glowing eyes. And they would see Jody around the property staring into the window. And there's a story about how one night after seeing Jody staring into the windows, it was actually on New Year's Eve, January 1st, they ran outside and they found hoof footprints in the snow.
Yeah.
Except later we would find out that, we can go back in time and see what the weather was. And there was no snow that day. So I guess maybe it was demon snow?
Maybe, because red glowing eyes don't come off as angelic to me.
No, not at all. So that was pretty concerning. And then of course they had the slime oozing from the walls. They had reported that not only was it oozing from the walls, it was oozing through the keyholes and stuff in the walls, outlets, and it was like a greenish, blackish slime. But you know what? This was the 70s. Every fucking body and their mother smoked inside of their house.
True.
And that nicotine runs.
Yes.
They live literally right on the river. Like, it's moist in there.
Oh, yeah.
So, and while it is typically a brownish color, I mean, I suppose if you mix it with some paints or chemicals or something, it could be green and slimy,
Which, I mean, goes back to why Mr. George Lutz couldn't get warm in the house, because it's freaking the middle of winter and he's on the river.
Right. It's cold.
Right.
in New York.
Yeah.
So they had the slime. Eventually they had packed up and they went to Kathy's mom's house to stay. They had enough of the house and they go to her house to stay. And she had black slime coming through her keyholes. Which again, everybody and their mothers, including probably Kathy, smoked in their homes and everywhere in the 70s.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know about that one. It's weird. 28 days.
Sure, didn't Kathy end up dying from emphysema?
Did she?
I think so.
I didn't read that, but
George
wow.
was a heart disease and Kathy was emphysema. So they
That's
definitely
weird.
smoked in their house.
Definitely. They definitely smoked. Period. Yeah. I mean, everybody did at the time. Not judging them. We both smoke, but
Right.
just saying that, yeah. As smokers, we know. I grew up with a smoking family, and they all smoked in the house. It wasn't until like the last 10 years where people stopped smoking in their house.
Right. I've never smoked in the house.
Before that point, it was just a fucking free-for-all. We smoked in the restaurants and everything. It was crazy. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know. But what I do know is that 28 days after purchasing the home, the Lutz family left in the middle of the night, claiming an event so horrific they have never told the story about exactly what happened and why they left. They didn't get any of their shit. They just left it all there. I guess we didn't mention that part. Most of the shit that was there actually belonged to the Defeo family.
Oh, really?
It did. Yeah, the furniture and stuff was still there. The only thing that was missing from the house were the mattresses, which everybody was killed in. They didn't, allegedly, what people say is that they didn't clean the house up of the blood stains and the fucking tissue that was there, which crime scene cleanup is interesting. I mean, if somebody dies in your house, even if it's horrific, you gotta pay. Either you're cleaning up or you gotta
Right.
pay someone else to clean it up. The police don't clean that shit up.
Right.
But allegedly, Kathy had to go in and clean that shit up because nobody else had.
I would have offered 60,000 then, maybe.
Right. I go, blood stains and shit and fucking chest tissue. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not paying.
Brain matter. Like, I'm good.
Kidding me? But again, that part's alleged. I couldn't find fact or not. It just seems to kind of be the story around town. But they did. I mean, I will say that they did pack up and leave 28 days into their move there. They sent someone for their things. And then they go on to eventually tell the story, but we're not quite there yet. Just let's talk about the haunting itself first. What they experienced, allegedly. A lot of it, you can either explain away or it's so ridiculous it didn't happen. I don't know how I feel about Jody.
Yeah, that one, like, she drew a little girl. She drew a picture of, like, I don't know.
I mean, I guess she could have just had an imaginary friend named Jody that was a pig person.
I mean, yeah, kids do that. Their imaginations are crazy.
I mean, so that's valid.
Do I think the adults saw Jody? No.
Yeah, they just kind of used her little imaginary friend to kind of make it something else.
Putting information into the little girl's head evolved Jody into something it wasn't in the beginning.
True. That's true. That's very true. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, that part is interesting. A lot of it, again, can be explained away.
Right.
But the fact does remain, they did leave that house in 28 days. Why? What happened there? There's some speculation that people state that, first of all, they purchased the house and really couldn't afford it.
No. Even George said they couldn't afford it.
Yeah. I mean, even for the discounted rate, but it was such a good price for what they were getting, they kind of couldn't turn it down either. But not just that, once they got into the house and they're really starting to pick everything apart, it had some really expensive repairs that needed tended to.
Oh, yeah, it was a big house.
A big house. The furnace was bad. Just a couple days after they found out the furnace was bad, they decided to. And that's another reason why he was freezing to death.
I was
in
going to say, the furnace was bad too? No wonder you were cold, motherfucker.
It's like, I don't know why it's so cold in here. Meanwhile, their fucking heat don't work.
But George did say they were looking for a house in the $30,000 to $50,000 range because that's what they could afford.
And
So
I mean,
80
that's
was definitely out of their range for being comfortable.
right, way out of their range. So, I mean, it could be that they didn't want to take on the. Now, I don't know how that works. If I've never bought a house, so like you can pull out within so much time. Is that how that works?
No, they resold the house. They took a loss on it, but they so what they did was they left everything, and then all their stuff that was still there got auctioned off. They got the money for that, but they ended up selling the house in 76 to the next people for only $55,000. So they took a loss, which that part doesn't make sense to me.
Well, yeah, except if they were well, no, they did take a loss. Never mind. I was thinking of an even trade, and I was thinking, well, if they bought a house for $30,000, but still, then they're still spending $80,000,
Right.
$87,000 for a house. Good point.
But I mean, did they have were they already? I wonder when the talks actually first started with Anson and like Weber, like stuff like that. Like, did they know they were getting money?
I believe it was after they sold the house when that happened. So they end up getting into contact. So, right. So I'm like, well, how did this go from the haunting to a book and a movie deal?
Mm-hmm.
So they had been telling, obviously, their friends and family, like, what happened. They were freaked out. They had a lot going on. They were having some crazy haunting. And then again, this is a small town. It's not big. And word kind of starts to get spread around. Well, for some reason or the other, what the claim is, though, George Lutz gets into contact with William Weber, the defense attorney for Ronnie Defeo.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to know the story because Ronnie Defeo, his trial, his sentencing had just settled a month before they bought the house.
Right. And
he had already gone through the original insanity plea. And so he wanted to know, well, what the fuck? What, of course, they're having what they, appear to be paranormal experiences, and they got this guy who claims he killed his family over demons.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know the connection. So it seemed pretty wholesome, and they kind of get together. Weber later states that he sat down with the Lutzes, and they concocted the entire thing.
Right.
In order to make money. And not just make money, he also did it because Defeo's got more appeals coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to get his client off. So it was kind of a two birds with one stone situation, right? This family can make their money back. I can win my defense and make more money because I'm a lawyer. And it'll be good. But when they actually went to go write the agreement up for who would get what, because they were going to write a book, the Lutzes didn't like the offer. They were only going to get like
choosers here.
What's that?
Beggars can't be choosers here.
Well, they're only going to get like 15% of royalties from the book, whereas like the author was going to get 40%, and then of course Weber would get his cut also.
Okay.
And they thought that was unfair. I'm sorry, it wasn't that Weber was going to get his cut. In fact, it was that 5% of the royalties were going to go to Defeo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He needed those little Debbies.
You can't get by without your cigarettes and Debbies in a prison now. You got to have them. That's more money than your money.
Right.
So they didn't like that deal, and they had a friend who kind of worked with local media who knew this guy, Jay Anson, and they instead spoke with Jay Anson, who instead was going to give them a whole lot more money, a big old piece of the pie to write the book. And they said, okay, let's do it. They didn't sit down with Jay Anson and go through the stories. They had sent hours and hours of tape recordings of them kind of retelling what they had gone through.
Why
And
would
then,
you do that? Like, what is the point of that?
I guess I don't know for sure. I know that like when I interview a witness to things, I do like to record them so that I can go back and listen to it. But I'm
But
still
being the
there.
author of this book, wouldn't you want to be there to ask your own questions?
Right, I'm still there with them. So I don't know why it was like kind of rehearsed on their end, why they sent in tapes, why they did it that way. Either way, Jay Anson goes to put this book out, and it's a massive fucking hit.
Mm-hmm.
Huge hit. They immediately get a movie deal. Fucking movie deal. And the movie was huge, but you gotta understand for the climate at the time, this was like these haunting stories, these demons and ghosts and things, they were a big deal to people.
Oh yeah.
The Exorcist had come out not long before that.
Mm-hmm.
That was big news. This was like cookie cutter constructed to be a hit.
Right.
Whether it was true or not, it didn't matter. It was going to be a massive hit, and it has, like you said, there's over 50. There's 50 Amityville horror movies.
Yes.
What the fuck? Like I said, I don't think it's that interesting, but
It's
other people
not,
think.
but I mean, you can make it into whatever you want it to be.
So after they would sell the house and the book would come out, paranormal investigators aplenty came flooding to the Amityville horror house, including your favorite investigators and mine, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
When you involve the Warrens, it means everything's true. This place is haunted as fuck.
Super trustworthy people. The most trust. They've never made anything up, not a day in their lives, not even the werewolf exorcism.
Nope.
So maybe one day we should do a whole story on, because that's just fucking ridiculous. But they weren't actually like the bread and butter of it. Like they were just kind of involved because they were involved in everything,
Right.
which is surprising. I'm sure they were disappointed they didn't get to it first.
When did the book come out? I don't have the date actually wrote down.
I feel like it was 77. Hold on.
Okay.
It was 77. Yep.
Okay, so Ed and Lorraine Warren investigated in 76.
Oh, so they did come out before
Yeah.
the book. Well, then maybe they just couldn't cut that slice of the pie big enough for the Lutzes.
Right.
When did they sell the house?
70. I forget the people's name. Hold on.
See, this is the part we're supposed to research off air. Instead, we don't. We're just like, whatever, we'll do it on
Well,
the
I
air.
had it all, but like my notes are all over the place
Yeah,
because I
it's
wanted to do it kind of in sections and then.
It's two different stories,
Right.
in one. So I don't blame you.
Mm,
Let me look it up.
that's what I'm trying to do, but the next ones aren't coming up when you look it up like that. Bought the house in March of 77.
Okay. So they did come out and investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, interesting. So the Warrens would go on to produce this picture, which is probably one of the most well-known pieces of quote-unquote evidence from the Amityville horror house. And if you don't know the picture, just Google it real quick. It is a picture of the, it's like part of the stairs and part of the house. However, there's clearly a little ghost boy with glowing eyes peeking his head around the corner.
What do you see when you see that picture?
I see a little ghost boy until I knew what it actually was.
I see a boy. Like when you zoom in on it, that's
see a boy,
way
yeah.
too many features.
Yeah, I see a boy. I mean,
Yeah.
but somebody telling me, "Oh, it's a ghost." Oh, I'm like, "Oh, because there were
It's
no
in
children in
like
the house that day."
night vision or like the zero
I know.
exposure. Like it's a like a blue and white picture, which makes it look ghostly, but the face has so many features.
Yeah, it definitely looks like there's somebody actually there.
Oh,
Like,
for
not like,
sure.
"Oh, what the
You can
fuck
see a
is going
nose and a
on?"
mouth and eyes and hair.
Which, if it is a ghost picture, it'd be super impressive, right?
Right.
One of the greatest we've ever seen in our entire lives. But what's interesting is that, the picture comes out, and the Warrens, of course, tote this around. Obviously, this is proof of afterlife, and this is one of the Defeo children
Hmm.
in this picture. You can tell. Except when people look and see who was there that day, when they were taking those photos, they noticed that there was an investigator there by the name of Paul Bartz.
Reminds me of Mall Cop. So
Same.
close.
Yes. So close. Yep. That's what I thought of too. And I've never seen that movie.
Really?
Never seen it.
Dang.
But the name's recognizable. But
Mhm.
Paul Bartz, and with a Z. And if you look at a picture of Paul Bartz, again, Bartz, Bartz, he's got glasses, and boy, he's got that same haircut that the DeFeo child had. And he was definitely there that day. And Paul's been confronted with this photo. And they're like, "This is you, isn't it?" Actually, some people have even gone as far as to say that Paul had his nephew or something there with him, and that was Paul's nephew. No, listen, this is a photo of Paul Bartz. Like, it's him. He was probably leaning down or something when the photo was taken, but like when you look at the glowing eyes, they're not glowing eyes. They're fucking glasses with the glare coming off of them.
Yep. You can see the bridge on the nose.
Clear as day, they're fucking glasses. And again, same haircut. And you look at a picture of him, you're like, "Oh shit, yeah,
I
that's
love
him."
this one next to the John DeFeo picture because it looks nothing fucking like him.
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Like there's a picture of like a zoomed in ghost boy and a picture
Oh,
of like little John DeFeo, and it looks nothing like
nothing.
John DeFeo.
Yeah, nothing like him. Um, but yeah, definitely looks 100% like Paul Bartz.
Hmm.
Who's a grown man. Some people will be like, "Well, he was a child." No. He's a grown man. Again, it's just the angle of how he's looking. It just maybe he's got a childlike face, and he kind of does have that childlike face.
Yeah, but it's also the exposure of the camera too. Like,
Like Rick Moranis, he always had that boy like. Even
right.
now, he's got that boy like face.
Yeah.
I love Rick Moranis. Good for
Mhm.
him for giving up his career to take care of his kids after his wife
Right.
died. What a gem. But yeah, it's not anything. I mean, it really isn't anything. And of course, you had all these paranormal investigators and all these psychics, and they all claim to feel something, see something, hear something. But like people do that shit now all the time, and
Pareidolia.
I'm not saying that everybody is lying about paranormal experiences. Okay, I'm not. I do believe in hauntings. I don't believe ghosts are dead people, but I do believe in hauntings, and I think that weird stuff does happen, and I know I've had my own weird experiences.
I definitely believe in hauntings. I just don't believe in this haunting.
Right, but you get a group of people, like you get a group of investigators together, and you're all, as someone that's been on these big investigations, you're hyping each other up.
Mm-hmm.
Your bias comes into play.
Oh yeah.
Everything becomes a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
It's just part
Is
of
that
it.
is that pareidolia? Dolia?
Pareidolia is just more kind of when you see faces and things. That's like when people like take pictures of like tree stumps and like, "Well, there's Bigfoot," and there's obviously no Bigfoot.
When you definitely
Um,
want to see something, but it's not there.
but when you're hyping up in a group together, there is a name for it, and I can't remember the name. And we've seen that there's this famous experiment that we've talked about before on the show where they held a seance
Mm-hmm.
and they were trying to trick people into believing that paranormal stuff was happening even though it wasn't.
Oh, gotcha.
But people were reporting experiences, and did they manifest it, or are they just lying, or is there some type of, like I said, it's more akin to like mass hysteria, even though that's the term I hate in this community. But there is some type of psychology behind it. And so, yeah, so they get together in this group and they're hyping each other up. Of course, they're going to see shit and feel shit and whatever. But then this big lawsuit happens.
A lot of them.
A lot of them. Yeah, a lot of them. But there's this real big one where they sued fucking everybody in it. And the Lutz family. And I still don't really quite understand why they did this to themselves. Because it was real stupid. They weren't going to win. And they sued a bunch of people for, basically misappropriation of names, privacy issues, things like that. And when they did that, the evidence for them, everybody else countersued them.
Right.
And it got so bad with what they were bringing to the table and what these companies and these people were pulling out about the fact that this was all not real and they faked it all, that the Lutzes ended up settling out of court because they were going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
The judge ruled that the book that came out, the Amityville Horror, was in fact a work of fiction. It was proven in court that the book, the Amityville Horror, based on a true story, is a work of fiction.
Yes, it was. The judge definitely said that.
Like, that's what it was. So they could either, at that point, they didn't have a choice but to settle out of court. They were going to lose.
Yeah.
And the judge was pretty much saying that. Like, you settle with these people or you lose, because this isn't fucking real. And they did. They settled out of court. And it didn't matter. At that point in time, the book had happened. The movie had happened. It was such a massive deal. You know what? It didn't matter. It just caught on like wildfire. Nobody knew anything about these lawsuits, I guess, and this court ruling that it's fake. Before they went on to go and sell it to people. And then, of course, after the court case, we've got Weber that comes out and says that they planned this together.
Yep.
Ronnie Defeo came out and said that it was all fake. And that guy's clinging on to anything to get out of prison. And he's like, no, that was all bullshit. That didn't happen. The kids. The girl.
The kids, yes.
Yeah, the girl has not
said much at all.
No, she's not been public about it, which is fine. She was very young. Even though I'd like to hear more about Jody from her.
Right.
But the boys have both said that George Lutz was, again, an abusive piece of shit.
Right.
And that he practiced the occult. And that weird stuff did happen in the house, but it was because of the occult practices that he did that caused that weird stuff to happen. But it wasn't nearly as extreme as portrayed in the book or the movie. So it was bullshit. And I think I believe it was the oldest, stuck by the fact that they didn't leave the house because of hauntings. They left the house because they couldn't afford it.
Oh, yeah. And he was only 10, I think, at the time. Yeah. I mean, they only stayed there for 28 days. It's not like he got older. But, right. I think he was 10.
So, I mean, on the flip side, though, the Lutzes, again, they took polygraph tests, both of them, and passed them. In regard to the house. I don't think that this story, I think it is very, very exaggerated.
Well, it says the oldest boy, Christopher, said that George exaggerated paranormal incidents that he believed did occur when he was a child. So, yeah, you could pass a polygraph test if you truly believe this stuff happened to you.
Well, that's true. Well, but I don't think the kids ever took the polygraph test. It was George and Kathy that didn't pass.
Right. And I'm just telling you, this is what Christopher said about George, that he exaggerated the paranormal incidents because he thought that it happened to him as a child. Like
Oh.
George was saying, like, this stuff did happen to me, but I was a child when it happened.
I understand. Not at the
Yeah.
house, but when I
No,
was a kid.
yeah.
Yeah. I get what
So
you're saying.
depending on
Maybe.
how they ask the polygraph questions, I mean,
Very true. Well, and polygraph tests, we know they're largely unreliable. That's why we
Mhm.
don't use them in court. It is an interesting phenomenon in its own. You know, some people love to use it when it favors their ideals, and some people like to use it when it doesn't favor,
Right.
when they had the counter argument. So I don't know what to think about that. I don't really have too much of an opinion. But there are a lot of things that have happened that people have passed polygraph tests on, and I think that it was a failure.
I think if you're come up with this story and you're lying to get money and you're like comfortable with lying about it, I mean, you're gonna pass if you're that comfortable with it.
Well, sure, especially how much time has passed since they.
Right.
When did they do the polygraph test? I guess I didn't
Mhm.
look that information up, but either way, I don't think nothing happened here. I don't think that it's a house of demons and mayhem like people think it is, because people have absolutely lived there after, and they have one family like went on and like made a whole fucking like documentary like about disproving some of the things that were claimed. Like one of the claims that was there is that there was the secret room in the basement.
Oh, the red room.
Yeah, that the Lutzes discovered. And it wasn't on any of the blueprints for the house, and nobody knew about it until they just found it one day. And it is a completely red room hidden in the basement. And in this like little video, there's it was actually one of the girls who was friends with the Defeo children.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep. And she, showed that this wasn't a secret room. Look, it's very easily accessible. Here, we're in the basement. Here's the door. You go in and you go into the room, and they show the red room.
He's like, this is where we kept our toys.
Right. She's like, we'd come down here and play. It'd be like a little hideout or whatever, because it's just a little storage
Right.
little room. And she's like, and it's red. It's a red room. She's like, so it wasn't a big secret room. We all knew
Mhm.
about it, So, again, like I said, I definitely a lot of exaggeration on a lot of the things, but again, I don't think nothing happened. And yeah, all the people that have lived there, I mean, they all have reported nothing's happened. They have gone as far as they've changed the address of the house.
Yeah, 112 to 108. Good job.
Right, which changed a bunch for them, I'm sure. They've changed the look of the house, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they painted it and stuff, but the big thing was they got rid of the windows and replaced them with different shaped windows. It's still the Amityville house. Everybody
Right.
knows it.
Especially when you put your public address change online.
Well, I think it has to be public record. I don't think you have a choice in that.
What's the point of
because
changing it then?
it goes through the government, so everything's public. I don't know. I don't know what the point is. It doesn't matter. Again, everybody knows it. Even if it looks a little different, the address is technically different. You would know that's the Amityville house.
Yeah, it said that the people that bought the house in 77, like the next owners, it was so bad that they had to move out of the house and just rented it. But it wasn't because of paranormal activity. It was because of all the fans from the book and were coming to the house and asking if one of the Defeos were there. The Feos were there.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the problem with this. And we kind of talked about that tourism a little earlier and kind of what
Right.
happens. But again, you're talking about people in they're at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's their house. And they got to worry about your ass climbing up on their balcony and shit, trying to get in and trying to get a look. Like, that is annoying. But for the most part, people that, the people that have bought it, they usually tend to stay there a long time. So, some people try to be like, well, why is it always for sale? Why is it hard to, find people to buy it? It's not.
No, it's been over 60 years. Like,
right. People come and go. People
right.
buy houses and move and
I'm
rent out
37. I've probably lived in like 8 different houses.
It's normal. That's normal. And that motherfucker's not hard to sell. It goes on the
No.
market, it's gone right away.
People know they can make money off of it just
They
because
sure
of what the
do.
house it is.
They sure did. I'm surprised they haven't turned it into some type of Airbnb or something, for people to
Right.
investigate. But somebody's living there. They live there, and they want you to leave them the hell alone. Go look at the house. That's fine. Park in front. Take a quick picture. Don't get out and get on their property. And but they've done a lot. Like I saw recently, they put up these big fences around the house, and trying to keep people out. And that's sad. It's sad that they have to go through that.
Right. And they got to
'Cause,
pay for that out of their own pocket.
the real haunting is the tourism.
Right.
Like those are the real demons coming to their house.
Mm-hmm.
But they've never reported any issues. None of them have ever reported any paranormal activity. And as far as we know, the Lutzes didn't experience any of that either once they moved.
Yeah, the kids said absolutely not. They haven't experienced anything after moving from that house.
So I don't know. I think that it gets more hype than what it's worth. I think
I
that
don't believe that house is haunted at all.
No. Well, I'm not going to say at all ever. I think, like I said, I think there's something. But I don't think it's a big deal. And I think that maybe something weird happened one time and they were like, we can use this as an out. Because they had dug themselves into a financial hole. And I think that they were like, oh, okay, well, that cross we hung up on the wall fell down the other day. Obviously, it's haunted. That's a great idea.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean the house was haunted by
It doesn't.
anything.
You're right. You're right about that.
I think the
You're right.
financial hole they put themselves in, was the start of a haunting that was fabricated in their minds because they knew they could make money off of it.
Could have been poltergeist activity. Poltergeists aren't necessarily entities, but caused rather by energies and could be caused by yourself, especially when you have a lot of stress going on in the household.
Right, but 28 days they moved out and then experienced nothing.
Nothing after that, yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Like, I definitely believe in hauntings. I believe in poltergeists, blah, blah, blah. But I don't see the evidence of anything in this one.
I think that the Defeo murder is, again, I think I've said it now a bunch of times, is the more interesting story.
Exactly.
Because there are still a lot of questions with that one, that have never been answered. We don't even know why he did it.
Right.
He's never just full on confessed, yeah, I did it. And this is why, because I was crazy.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to kill my dad for the money. Because, he's told a million stories. We don't know what's real, and probably none of them are.
It said that in the interrogation that he did ask the police officers how to claim his dad's life insurance policy.
He sure did. He was going to get his cigarettes and Little Debbie's.
Right.
That. And so, that's a pretty good motive. Sometimes shit just happens and people kill their whole families. Is it okay? No. Is it normal? No, but it happens. It happens more than you think it does.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot. There's so many cases that we don't talk about, and shit like that. But it does. It happens a lot.
It
so
just
I don't know.
irritates me that, okay, when we're doing the research for this story, specifically this story, you find all these YouTube videos and stuff, and I was telling you, they are so boring, and they were, word for word, the exact same written story that different people are reading for different shows. And the majority of them make it all about the Warrens when the Warrens have absolutely nothing to do with it except for one televised seance in 76.
Yeah, they went there that one time.
Right.
I agree. Yeah, they do make it a lot about the Warrens, and it's like, that's not really a Warren. I know it has Warrens written all over it because it's a hoax, but this one wasn't their baby.
Right.
They've got plenty of others to focus on. But no, you're absolutely right. There are too many people tying it to them or just focusing on, the paranormal stuff. They're like, oh yeah, one night this guy killed his whole family. But then the Lutz moved in and they had green slime on their walls and the dog hung itself. And, they just zoom right past the Defeo stuff a lot.
The Defeo
And
stuff is the most interesting part.
it really is. And there's so much more that we didn't even touch about the Defeo
Right.
case. Just because we had to get to the haunting stuff. Because that's what you guys are here for, for the most part.
Sorry to burst your bubble.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's gonna be the wet blanket. There's just not a lot to this. It's not that impressive. It's not that scary. I'd go there and I'd stay the night, and it's probably cozy and nice.
100%. That's one that I would go to. And if you've listened to me, I don't like going to haunted places because I don't want to bring that shit home with me. But I do not feel this house is haunted.
No, I think what do they say in what did she say? This house is clean.
Yeah.
Poltergeist, which is definitely the better haunted house movie than
Mhm.
Amityville Horror. Which, like I said, I didn't think the movie was that great, but everybody knows it. There's not one if you say Amityville to anybody, that's what they think of. When you say Amity to anybody, that's what they think of. But do you know what Amity is from?
The town.
Jaws. The movie Jaws.
Oh.
Yeah. Nobody ever thinks of Jaws. They think of the Amityville house. That's how popular it is. It goes. It's bigger than Jaws, and Jaws was huge. They needed a bigger boat for that bitch.
So, okay, the Ryan Reynolds version came out in 2005. And that started like a whole new like splurge of like Amityville stuff. Because, and this was probably, I'm going to say 99% positive I'm right on this, just to get people like promotion of the movie. But Ryan Reynolds came out and said he was continuously waking up at 3:15 every morning shooting this film.
Well, but that's because he knew the story. Just like George did.
Exactly. But it would probably all led to the promotion of the actual freaking movie.
Yeah.
Would get more people because there's 49 movies before this, so why?
Yeah. Right. Why is this one special?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just it makes me sad. It does. It makes me sad that it's bunk,
Yeah.
but we got to talk about it. We got to tell you, we got to deliver you guys the good stuff.
I just hit my microphone really hard with my hand on accident. Sorry, Nate.
He's gonna be so mad at you.
I turned the fan off.
He's gonna come Defeo you. He's gonna give you the old butch.
Right?
I'm getting loopy now. This is a long episode. I'm tired. It's Monday.
I'm so tired, and I gotta make dough in the morning.
So, any final words on the Amityville murder case, the house? What we're going to see in the future? Anything? The Warrens?
If you want to look into this, I'd definitely just go towards the Defeos. I wouldn't consider even giving time to the haunting.
Yeah, check that shit out. It is really cool. There's a lot. If you're into that type of thing, it is neat. There's so many stories and characters, like you said, people that don't even exist.
Right. Just made them up.
Because I guess you could do that. You can just lie.
My wife that I didn't have has a brother that doesn't exist, but he was with me.
Yeah, he was there, and Dawn killed everyone. So, and then I had to kill her. It's just it's wild. I agree. Look up that part of it. If you really want to get into the facts about the house itself, the information's out there. You can look up the court documents if you really want to. I did not. I didn't care to put myself through all that reading, but you can. And see what the judge said for himself, about what they brought to the table and kind of what they proved and whatnot. Better hauntings out there. We'll talk about them sometime.
Yeah,
why not? This one is not it. The Zach Baggins demon house is cooler than this.
Oh, for sure.
Like the story before he got involved is like fucking insane.
Right. And I love Zach Baggins, but she's right. It was definitely crazy before Zach Baggins.
Yeah, before him. Like that, like way cooler, than this. I think there was definitely something there. I don't think he got blinded by anything though. He says he did, but
I don't know. Those thick goggle glasses he wears came after the demon house.
He blames it on the demon house.
Yeah.
That's where it happens. So I mean, check that out. I did that episode back
I
in the day,
believe Zach Baggins before I believe George Lutz.
especially with his 70s style.
Right.
Definitely. I think they're both dead now. So rest in peace. I hope that, the daughter does come forward one day and shares her own story. Makes her own money off of it. Sure, why
Might as
not? You're
well.
allowed. It's your story. Tell it.
It's
You
not
know,
like
the-
we put true stuff out there all the time.
I
Go
mean,
for it.
They didn't, so
Right.
let's keep going, see how well they did. But yeah, I guess with that being said, guys, we'll end it there. Definitely come check us out. We're picking our Patreon back up now that it become a little less busy again. We definitely need to do our meeting
For sure.
and our stuff. Patreon.com/Wednesdays Talk, and come join the Facebook group on Wednesdays We Talk Weird, and of course, share this episode with everybody, especially if you hate it.
Oh, this is a good episode, though.
Share it with everyone. It's got a lot of information. We did
Yeah.
a lot this week.
Sure did.
But we'll be back again next week, and we'll bring you something else equally as strange and unusual. I'm sure of it. So, with that being said, guys, we'll see you back here next Wednesday.